Turning day into night is one of the more impressive tricks you can do in Photoshop, and it's not difficult. We'll begin by erasing all this sky, and we'll do that with the background eraser tool. Set it to sample once, and brush out all the colour that appears in the sky here. It can take a little while to do this accurately, so here's a selection that I made earlier. With all the sky removed, we can now put a new sky in there. And here's one that fits the bill well. Now we need to darken the buildings. We'll do this using an adjustment layer. Rather than simply choosing the adjustment layer from the pop-up menu in the Layers palette, hold Option or Alt first to bring up this dialog. Now we can say, use previous layer to create clipping mask. This will create a curves adjustment layer that only applies to the layer directly beneath it. We can now darken all these buildings by dragging the curve down. It looks a bit muddy, so let's switch to the blue channel and increase the blue slightly. And let's also take out a little red and a little green. There we go. That's not looking too bad, but we can see that the building on the right here is far too bright. So let's select that with the lasso tool. It's easy to do because the boundary between this building and the one next to it is almost entirely composed of straight lines. Now, let's add a new curves adjustment. We'll put it behind this one. This time, because the one above it is already using this as a clipping layer, we don't need to hold Option or Alt. However, when we bring up the dialog, we can see that our selection now appears as the white area on the layer mask that goes with this adjustment layer, meaning it'll only apply to this area. Once again, we can darken this down. This time, we need to take out some of the red and some of the green. A little more red here. And now it matches the buildings around it quite well. Now for the windows. Hold Option or Alt as you select windows from corner to corner. Don't worry about the railings, we can include those. And hold the Shift key to add to the selection. Once you've clicked, don't release the mouse button but release the Shift key, and now add Option or Alt again to draw straight lines between click points. Again, this can take a while to get right, so here's a selection of windows that I made earlier. I'm going to copy those with Command-C, Control-C, go to the top, and then paste that copy in place. And there are our windows. They're above the curves adjustment layers, so they're as bright as they were in the original. Let's make them even brighter. Hold Option or Alt again as you choose Curves from the adjustment layer dialog. And again, use the previous layer to make a clipping mask. Now let's brighten these up, and rather than just adding white light to them, let's make a bit of yellow as well, using some of the red and a little green. And there are our lit up windows. As a final step, we want to give the impression of street level lighting right at the bottom here. So let's make another adjustment layer. This time we don't need to group it with anything, but we do need to position it just above the buildings. We'll brighten this up here. We'll add a bit of red and a bit of green And there it is. Now you can see that each adjustment layer comes with a layer mask. So let's switch to the gradient tool, set to black to white, start at the bottom here, and drag this down. This will add a gradient mask which will hide the effect of our street level light on the buildings above. If we want it a bit lower, we can drag that mask down. And there is our nighttime scene complete.